I'd like to call tonight's meeting of the Lower Macungie Township Board of Commissioners to order. If we could all please stand for a pledge of allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, for the roll call, all who are expected to be here are Director of Planning Nathan Jones is absent this evening, and our Township Engineer Brian McAdam is joining us through Zoom. There are no agenda modifications. Item 5, announcements and presentations. An executive session was held after the May 20th, 2024 workshop to discuss litigation. Item 6, hearings and approval. 6.1, Resolution 2024-28, approving amended policy for sale of personal property. Mr. Beidle.
Thank you. As discussed at previous workshop meetings, this does amend our policy for sale of personal property with some slight adjustments. Some of those being that I can deem those non-serviceable, unfit items that don't operate, that they don't have to go to auction before we get rid of them. I can deem them as such and move them to refuse status. So with that, it's a basic amendment to that policy.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 6.2, consideration of park memorial tree and plaque for Pauline Hanlon at Prater Park.
Yes, we received a park memorial application for a tree at Prater Park, and this is to memorialize the applicant's mother. She used to live with them. Their back porch goes right to where they're requesting the tree, and it would be identical to the tree that's already there. The Park and Rec Advisory Board recommend it, and so does Public Works.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commissioner comments or questions? I have one question. It's something I brought up to Bruce. In my opinion, unless there is some sort of controversy surrounding this where we're paying or we don't think it should go in, it's being denied, I don't understand why we bring this to the Board of Commissioners for approval. It should be a staff, I think at least, and I'm curious to see what anybody else thinks, but I think it should be a staff decision. If the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee says yes, staff says yes, bringing it here, I think just slows the matter down. And I don't know that it's necessary. It's not a huge matter of state that we're dealing with parks, trees, and benches. Anybody else have any strong feelings about that?
No, as long as it's not an issue for staff, I'm fine with Commissioner Higgins.
I agree.
We already need an amendment to the policy because it says that it goes through the Park and Rec Board. We'll change it to the Park and Rec Advisory Board, but we can make small amendments to the policy and bring it back for a policy update.
That would be, I think that's good. If we can streamline the process.
Yeah.
There's no reason to bring it up here. All right.
Sounds
Thank
good.
It can be brought up here at the discretion of staff.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Excellent. Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 7, public comment on non-agenda topics. Is there any public comment on non-agenda topics? Sir, if you want to just come up and sign your name and address and just state your name and address for the record as well.
Okay, thank you, board. First of all, thank you for your work in the township. I really appreciate it. I've been a resident here, my wife and my family, for 40 years or so. First in Ancient Oaks and now been over in Shepherd Hills for a while. Part of my experience is as a retired teacher in East Penn and an administrator with the Carbon Lehigh IU. I spent a lot of time here. So one of my jobs as a retired person is to be involved in the poll watching for the elections. And I'd like to just bring something up to your, for your attention. Maybe you can help us out or not. Previously to this year, we were in the rec center over on Hamilton Boulevard. And I understand that the township is going to be doing something with that building. And we were moved to the West Coastville Social Center, West Coastville Fire Company Social Center. Our experience there this year for the primary was just less than stellar, let me tell you. Generally, what we were experiencing was the space itself. We had to kind of fumigate it for a day ahead of time because there was just so much smoke in the upstairs room. So we got a ozone machine going prior to the thing. Luckily, we could open the doors to the place during the session, the voting. Parking, there's probably at best room for 20 cars and not getting onto the fire company parking beside their building, which is obviously no parking in case of emergencies. There's a tremendous splintered ramp up the back side of it. And you can imagine somebody in a wheelchair or a walker going up that ramp. Everybody would have to clear off the ramp to do it. The bathrooms are not ADA approved. What we're concerned about, obviously, we think this next election might have a few more people there. I don't know why I think of that, but
Possible.
It's possible. That's true. The other thing is getting out on the Brookside Road in the morning and afternoon. A couple of our poll watchers had to go out and actually kind of get traffic in and out of the space, and then trying to get them back on Brookside Road at that time of night was just crazy. So what we're doing is trying to get an idea of if you can help us out. Think of any available space in the district that would be appropriate for the voters of that district to go to. I just stopped at the library thinking, that's a great thing, but that is a polling place already, so we can't confound that. So we have contacted the people at the Lehigh County Courthouse regarding the situation, and we're quite frankly not getting any response from them. And we don't know why. Maybe they're just not looking, they're not canvassing the area, they don't know what's available. But as I said, this is kind of a disaster ready to happen. You know, it's going to be nighttime earlier. It's going to be nighttime without light in the morning. We can't open those doors on November 4th to get air kind of going in there. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, they're starting to pump downstairs. We can hear the music through the, you know, it's just not an appropriate place. So yeah. I'm just asking you if you might be able to think of anything either now and in the future that might be an appropriate place for the residents of that particular district to use to have a successful vote at least this election coming up and maybe into the future. I don't know what the situation is with the election commission, whether I'm assuming they give some kind of stipend to the place that they are using for the day or for the day, I should say. But we would be happy and happy to have your approval for
Sure.
some place that might be a good place to have that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the shortest answer I can. We don't choose where they go, the
Right.
county does. So
Right.
they normally come to us and say, do you have anything available? And we give them what we have available at the time. The other part is that the polling place needs to be within the district. So it does limit the scope and the area that we're looking at. Commissioner, keep calling you commissioner, probably should be one now. Manager,
Promote him.
yeah, I
Don't
used to do that to
promote me.
Bruce the other Bruce. Manager Vital, Can you comment on this or at least have a conversation with Mr. Baino over at the voting office to see what the status is?
I can, and we actually do, as you said, interact with them where they send us contracts for the places that we have and that small stipend that we engage when we end up giving them locations. And they do make requests on the area and what buildings we think might be available to kind of have them target. So we can reach out. We have a contact there, the lady that we actually engage our agreements with. So she's usually fairly responsive. Maybe we can make sure you have your contact information down there. We'll loop them in. We've heard concerns at our meeting and see what we can hear back.
Actually, why couldn't we just have them use the West Coast Field Community Center for just this election?
Yeah, and we can look at it. I know it might be potentially mothballed over there. I don't know how the conditions are in it since we've kind of cut back on heating, cooling, all of those things. So would have to look at the condition in there. And, I also, not to put them on the spot too, I know right across the street, the Lehigh County Authority also has their headquarter building where they already have a absentee ballot drop-off location there. So, in their meeting room and everything.
Yeah.
So maybe they can
That could work.
check things out. But we'll reach out to the county, let them know we received some concerns. And then hopefully we can, hear back for you,
Thank you.
okay?
Yeah, and I just want to thank you for looking into it. One of the largest things would be the parking
Sure.
for that particular evening and the access and egress out of wherever it is, particularly during the morning and afternoon. This is Rebecca Williams. She also works there.
All right, well, we'll look into it. We'll see what
Okay.
we can do to help, move it along and get it to a different location.
I
apologize for being late. Is there anything you need?
I think they're going to look into it and contact
The county?
the county, but also be behind the scenes looking at appropriate places in the district.
Did you talk about the building?
It's a polling place.
Yeah, but there's multiple rooms there?
Yeah, but it's not in the district, so you can't, the polling place needs to be in the district that they're voting. So you can't just pull from any part of the town and say, come here to vote.
I
So
understand.
that wouldn't work.
So in the past, we've used the Grace Community Church, and that went by the wayside because of COVID, and they have a daycare in there.
Mhm.
At least they used to. I don't know if they still do.
No, we understand the problems. It's not really up to us. We don't, the county's the one that picks the places, but we're going to call them and see if we can help them find a more suitable place for you.
I appreciate it. Thank
No
you so
problem.
much.
Okay, thank you.
And you just answered my questions. I was gonna say, I don't ever remember us doing it at West Coastville because I don't ever remember it being at West Coastville, or not West Coastville, the West Coastville Rec Center, but it was at Grace, and that's the one I remember.
Several years.
Yeah.
But is that building being?
Yes, being, yeah, at some point, yes.
Is it, I don't know what that timeline looks like, but if that's a great facility for
Yep.
us.
We just covered all of this before you walked in. I'm sorry. That's okay, not a problem.
Yeah.
Yes. Sure. Thank you.
And-
You got
And
it.
if we could just make sure we have your contact information, if you didn't put it in the book, that way we can follow up. All right, thank you.
Okay, moving forward. Item 9, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. 9.1, zoning hearing board.
You missed communications.
Oh, we didn't want to care about that. No. Item 8, communication, 8.1. Mr. Vital.
Just a notification from the county, if we choose to exclude our status from the CDBG countywide program, we feel it's not recommended that we would opt out of that program. We really don't qualify for anything in it. And opting out makes us have to manage it on our own. So I would rather just stay status quo. So that's just notification of that.
Okay.
So that is that we would not be opting out.
Correct. Correct. We would not be excluding ourselves and opting out of the countywide program.
Okay.
Okay, item 9, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. 9.1, zoning hearing board. Consideration to appoint one individual to fill the vacancy with a term to expire December 31, 2028.
We had a vacancy because of John Hammer resigning. So we had one person that interviewed and applied for, his name is John Parrish. And the chair recommends appointing him to fill the vacancy.
Move to appoint John Parrish.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint John Parrish to the Zoning Hearing Board with a term to expire December 31st, 2028. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item 10.1, approval of minutes of previous meeting, May 16th, 2024.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commissioner comment or question? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I will abstain. I was not.
That's 4 ayes and an abstention. Item 11, approval of transfers, bill list, and payroll. Bill list of June 6, 2024. Mr. Beidle.
Thank you. We have the following for your consideration. The general fund, $404,854.58. Solid waste fund, $261,248.26. The sewer fund, $33,676.27. Capital Projects Fund, $32,938.43. The Open Space Maintenance Fund, $3,122.50. The payroll, $329,833.64. Developer escrow, $28,471.45. For a total of all funds, $1,094,145.03.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 12, departmental matters. 12.1, engineering. Mr. McAdam.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing for tonight, with the exception of, I believe I'm picking up for Nate with his item, which is the escrow release for ABE doors.
Brian, we'll take we got to take the two bids for roadway paving and the manhole maintenance.
Yeah, I'll handle that. So I am looking for a motion to table consideration of the bids for 2024 roadway improvement programs.
Move to table.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions?
Bruce, is that a table or a rejection?
It's a table, and I would note for the record, I had this on the agenda prior to us. We have to approve and adopt the new Sauerkraut Lane extension and the Compost Center roadway. We didn't want to approve this bid at this point until that comes before you at the next meeting. So we're recommending a tabling of that.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 12.1.2, I'm looking for a motion to table consideration of bids for multi-municipal manhole maintenance and rehab project.
Move to table.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Or any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we'll get to you, Brian. 12.2, planning, resolution 2024-29, security release for ABE doors redevelopment.
Yes, we have an escrow release for your consideration. It's in the amount of $393,144.90. The escrow remaining balance will be a little over $110,000. Not sure how many of you have been out to the site, but they're closing in on things. So we're recommending approval of this. There's still a couple of straggly things that remain.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve resolution 2024-29, security release for ABE doors redevelopment. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, anything additional from you, Brian?
No, I just apologies for making the other items confusing. Yeah, we're working on each of them with Bruce and staff. So apologies for any confusion I may have caused.
Okay, any questions for the engineer? 12.3 solicitor, Solicitor Bruman.
Nothing this evening, Mr. President.
Okay, any questions for the solicitor? Okay, 12.4 Township Manager, Mr. Vital.
Thank you. Just as we've mentioned at every meeting for probably the last 6 or 7 months now, the solid waste contract and the upcoming renewal that we will need to make and how it may affect residents. For those that aren't aware, our current hauler contract ends in August of this year. We've gone out to bid through a bidding process. We received actually 3 bids today. We had 4 bids taken. We received 3 from interested parties. We are working to evaluate them for completeness as well as what the effect may be on the ratepayer. I can say for certainty that there will be an increase in what you pay for trash service. However, until we get through the rest of the documents, I can't tell you how much that is going to be. Our time frame is to have that analysis at least prelim to the board for the 18th, but a thorough discussion on the 24th with a potential award for that contract on July 18th board meeting. So just want to keep all the public in the loop. We have sent a notice to all of our customers. We've also posted on our website, and we're continuing to try to be transparent and open in this process so that everybody's aware of what we may be facing on potential billings and adjustments. So we appreciate the comments and feedback we've received about the mailer and outreach we've had. So we look forward to getting a recommendation to the board. And that's all I have unless there's additional questions.
Any questions for the Township Manager? Bruce, what was the response have we gotten responses from the mailer?
Several, not a lot. They were happy to see the mailer. Several of the people, thought that it was important that they got the mailer, knew that or recognized that we have been trying as best as we can to notify the public and act in the best interest of the customer. We did have several, not a lot of potential concerns for price, keeping it to the lowest minimum price. I think those were like 3 or 4 of the 5 or 6 returns we've had. So we're always hopeful for more feedback, but I'm happy that we at least know that those went out and we got some feedback. So
Great, thank you. Okay, item 13, other business. Is there any old business this evening? Is there any new business? Item 14, Board of Commissioner reports. The next board regular meeting is June 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. The next board workshop is June 24th, 2024 at 6 p.m. There will be an executive session following this meeting to discuss litigation. And with that, we are adjourned.
Good night, all.
Good night, Brian.
Brian.